This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
I was like, when I got here, I'm like, is that a fucking vibrator or some shit?
Why would I have a fight? We said less sexual.
Right? I'm like, okay, I love the fake wine.
Okay.
Hey everyone, you're listening to The Public Affair with me, Andrew G. I see someone different every episode, but do me a favor, keep it between us.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Andrew G, and welcome to another exciting episode of The Public Affair. I'm so excited to have this next guest back onto the show because, while the last episode that we did was tons and tons of fun, in my opinion, things happened, which we'll get into in just a second, but, they had to come back because I feel like they needed to be redeemed. I feel like this person needed to be highlighted because they're such a good time, and a part of this show is having a good time. So I'm really grateful that they're back. Eileen, welcome back. Thank you. Now, of course, before we continue, I want to use this opportunity for you guys to like, share, and subscribe. I want to thank Brazos, and I want to thank Josh for producing this episode of The Public Affair. And Eileen was giving side eye to Brazos. Now, Eileen, girl, he's with somebody. Nice and tall, okay, 18. But listen, of course, to all of you guys, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Now, before we continue, even with the sponsors, I promised somebody a shout out, so please just give me an opportunity to do this. The other day, I was at GameStop trying to pre-order the Nintendo Switch 2, and I was in line with 14 people at the time who had no idea who I was. No idea who I was. The person behind me knew who I was the minute they pulled up. And we're so excited that they were standing behind me. We ended up making friends. Wow. Me and him, we had such a good time standing in that godforsaken line for 4 hours. And his name is Jacob Garcia from Lorena. I told him, Jacob, thank you so much for being here. I feel like you're a godsend because I would have lost my mind had he not been there with all those people who didn't know me. And we talked about the show. He saw the bitch diva side of me come out because I was impatient. All he could do was laugh. And I said, go home and tell your wife that you just stood in line at GameStop for 4 hours with that guy from The Public Affair. Jacob, you were great. You're phenomenal. I wish you nothing but the best in your life. Shout out to you, your kids, and your family. Thank you. Now, of course, before we continue this episode of The Public Affair, I'm just going to give a shout out to just a few of our sponsors, girl, of this episode of The Public Affair. This episode is brought to us by David Santabanez with Eileen Real Estate. He's the #1 sales agent in his office still. That's right. He'll help you buy a home or sell your property. Make sure you guys follow him on Facebook and social media at David with Alinea. Call the number on the screen, darling, for all your real estate needs. If you guys don't know how to start buying a house, you don't know what the process entails, just say to my boy David Santabanez. He's going to make sure that he has you involved in every single step of the process. David, thank you so much for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair. Of course, to my girl Anika Armstrong, with Armstrong's Bayou Cafe and Bayou Po' Boys. Listen, that's right. She is still serving the most authentic Creole cuisine with a wide selection of signature crab cakes, pasta, seafood, and more. Girl, anything that she has that's pasta related is my fave. Right. It's absolutely my fave. The seafood pasta, everything is so fantastic. If you guys like seafood potatoes, if you guys like seafood boils, just hit her up. Union Hall, Union Grove, and you guys can also ask about catering services as well. Armstrong's Bayou Cafe, thank you so much for sponsoring this episode. Of course, to Manny Guerrero with Blue Star RV Services, who I actually ran into today. He's doing so great. He looks so well. His business is thriving. I'm so proud of him. He's a mobile RV tech who can fix all RVs, travel trailers, fifth wheels, toy haulers, and so much more. He can deal with the warranty company so you don't have to. And me and Eileen are so tired of going to these events with broken down food trucks, girl. Just call Blue Star RV Services. Okay, because we're hungry. Right. A bitch is hungry. We want cheeseburger. We don't want to hear that it's down.
No, yeah,
okay?
Sure.
Call Blue Star RV Services and they'll come take care of it. Blue Star, thank you so much. Of course, to Lucas Pizzeria with Jesse and Tanya Sotomayor. I just got to go Sunday for the first time since my CrossFit comp. I wasn't drinking. I got to have some brunch over there. It was absolutely fantastic. I got the Eggs Benedict, which I absolutely love. My best friend got one of the hash brown skillets. Fantastic. You guys. Lucas Pizzeria is our new brunch spot, 3125 Belt Mead Drive. You can enjoy brunch from Thursday to Monday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And of course, you got to check out their dinner Fridays and Saturdays, 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. They're new. I'm telling you, they're on the come up. Best thing to come out of Belt Mead and New to Waco. I'm telling you, Lucas Pizzeria is where it's at. Thank you guys so much for sponsoring. And of course, I'm not going to continue this episode without thanking Jeff Davis, Texas Car Plug, at University Mazda Kia. You can hit him up to get the best deal on a brand new or pre-owned vehicle. Don't worry about your credit. Don't worry about your finances. Jeff is going to make sure he does the damn thing and ensuring that you get approved and rolling off the lot, greeting from ear to ear with your brand new ride. Jeff, thank you so much for all you do for me on the show. I truly, truly appreciate it. All right, guys. Like I said, hello. Like I said, I'm so excited. I think he's over here fanning herself. It's not even that hot in here, girl.
It's hot. It's the biggest lights.
Listen, all I can say is here we go again. The last episode we did was in August.
Yes.
Fantastic episode.
Thanks.
I thought it was so funny. A lot of people really, really liked it. I think it was a guilty pleasure for a lot of people.
Right.
I think it was a guilty pleasure for a lot of people. And, we're going to get into it in just a second. First of all, I want to welcome you back on the podcast. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
It was a long time coming. You reached out to me and, really wanted to come back again. And I really wanted to have you back again.
Right. Thank you.
And I'm sorry that we ended up having to take that episode down, but we have to, we got to squash some misconceptions.
Yes, we do.
People thought we were beefing. immediately.
I know. I don't. People are so quick to assume shit.
Yes.
And let's clear the air.
Okay, clear it.
Me and Andrew never had beef.
Ever.
Never will have beef.
Ever.
I don't know what y'all conclusions are, but we are still kicking it, still here. So I don't know what y'all talking about.
You know, yeah. Because I will tell you this: there are about 4 or 5 episodes that you can't view right now. 2 of them I have beef with. One of them has beef with me, but I don't have beef with them. And then, yeah, so I'm not sure where that came from. And then one of them, similar to yours, we just decided not to put out for just other reasons, which, you know, hopefully one day you guys will get to see that. But for now, it's in the archives. But, you know, as soon, you know, the episode was, everybody thought it was funny.
Right.
You know, it was super sexually charged,
yes.
for, you know, to say the least. And, you know, as soon as it came down, the next day, everybody's like, where's the episode with Eileen? Where's the episode with Eileen? But people are quick to be like, oh, so what happened? What happened? For your, you know, just per request, I decided to keep it on the wraps.
Right.
I didn't, you know, we know why we took it down.
Right.
I don't think that I don't want to publicly speak about it, but just know that I personally feel like as a podcaster, the last thing I want to do is take an episode down.
Right. Yeah.
And the last thing I want to do is, you know, because something that we work hard for, we pay for this and that. But at the end of the day, your reason was valid enough for me to have respect for it.
Right.
And to be like, I completely get where you're coming from, 100%. We'll take it down for now.
Thank you.
And I'm grateful that you came back.
Yes, I'm back.
You know, Eileen, when you came on the show the last time, I just want to tell a funny joke.
Okay.
I had a lot of people hitting me up asking to have a threesome with you.
Right.
I don't know. I was so confused. Like, you know, I know we talked a lot about your content and stuff like that.
Right.
But, you know, Eileen, you're my girl.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I wonder, did you have the same request?
Honestly, I did have the same request, and honestly, I was like, "Hey, like, I'm sorry, but not gonna happen."
You know, it's just I don't know why, and I kind of want to get into this too because you know a lot of the reason why you're here is that I feel like the LGBT is going through a lot right now.
Right.
You know, I do stand on certain sides that might be opposing my community, which, you know, I'm sure they get mad with me about. But, you know, I try to do so in a respectful manner because I have respect for a lot of people. But, you know, I think that I won't even say us. You are looked at as a fetish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You as a trans woman. I wonder, does that make you mad? Does that bother you?
It does bother me because, you know, I understand that people have fantasies, fetishes, whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the motherfucking day, I am human. You know, I don't think I should be looked past as more than a fucking hoe. Yeah. Because I'm more than a hoe. I am a human being with feelings, and I deserve way more than what people want to give out to nowadays.
Agreed. And you know, 1,000 people watched the last episode that you were on before we had to take it down. So a lot of people are aware at what you did. You know, you did do some content. Yeah. And you know, I like that you say, I'm not a hoe, I'm more than that. Right. Do you think that doing the content creation at the time, do you think that diluted that message? Honestly,
I think it did in a way. I think if I would go back in time, I would do it all over again. I would not do it honestly, just because, you know, I got the wrong perception of myself. Okay. And I don't want going around, you know, because I'm very well known, and I don't want that people have that into having that image of me, like thinking like, oh, like she's a hoe anyway, so like, she's pretty fast, or she's easy to get to, and it's not that, you know. I'm more than just a hoe, like I said. I'm a person.
Yeah. So at the time, though, you know, I don't think that we should. I think everything's a lesson learned, right? And you know, I would never judge you because of the things that you've done. You know what I mean? You've always been a beautiful person to me. And you know, even when you were, if that's what you did, girl, that's what you did. You know what I mean? Content creation and stuff like that. However, I wonder. It kind of leads me to my question. This episode took place back in August, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And so it's just a little short of a year. How much have you changed in the last year? And I guess watching the show, did you hate it, Eileen?
Honestly, looking back at the first video we did, I didn't like the platform just itself, but I didn't like myself and how the image came off of, like how I was coming off towards everybody. So because I know a lot of people watch it, like you said, a lot of people watch it. So I'm just thinking, I'm like, damn, like people are gonna think of me of this, think of me of that. But since the last time we filmed to now to our day, I've definitely changed a lot with mentally, physically, emotionally. Yeah. I think for the better. You know, I think back then I was just kind of not really in the best of my moment, but I feel like towards today, I feel like I'm way better and I way matured more.
Okay. I think that's fair. I think that's a fair statement. I would like to agree with you in saying that, even me, I don't regret the episode, not one bit.
No, yeah.
I still stand by the episode. I think that's who you were at that time.
Right.
And at the end of the day, when you were on the show, Eileen, you were being true to yourself and
Right.
who you were in that time. Just like me going on 5 years ago, I was just a slutty girl on the show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Talking about all these married men I've been with and this and that. Now I look back at it and kind of cringe.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And kind of be like, okay, because, we just get the opportunity being in a platform like this to reassess ourselves.
Right.
But I also don't think that we should, in a way, and I know this is nuanced, regret some of our actions.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, who knows what you were going to that you had to resort to content creation?
Right.
You know what I mean? And then even the things that we did with the men that we spoke about, not naming names because we never name names with each other,
No.
just to make that clear as
No.
well. Because I had a lot of people asking me too. We never disclose names with each other. That was
No.
always a rule, and I
Right.
made that clear. It's a party.
Right.
It takes two people to do that. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so I feel like for me, we can hold ourselves accountable, forgive ourselves, how we feel fit, whether that be through prayer or whatever. Then we just got to move on.
Yeah.
I don't feel it necessary to publicly speak about, bash anybody, shame anybody, and a lot of our people are doing that. I wonder what your thoughts are on that.
Honestly, when it comes to that subject, I think, to this very day, I've learned that people are gonna say and talk regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're doing the best you can or doing the worst, you're at your worst. People are always gonna judge and people are always gonna criticize. And I think I learned throughout these past months that I don't care anymore. I feel like I back then I feel like I cared so much for people's opinions so much. I feel like I was trying I was putting a lot of pressure on myself to be the best I could for not just myself but for everyone else. You know what I'm saying? And I learned that I had to put myself first, and I have to not think about what anybody got to say because at the end of the day, I'm gonna do me regardless of what you say or what you think. I don't really care anymore. I'm gonna continue being me.
Yeah. I love it. I love it, and I'm grateful. I just feel different energy from you too.
Yes.
I do. I feel different energy from you. You're still fun. I still follow you on social media. You're still a riot.
Yeah.
Did you ever do that quinceañera? It wasn't a quinceañera. It was that 24 años. What was it?
24añera.
Did you do it?
So it's actually coming up this year, November 29th, 2025.
You know I'm pulling up.
Better come up. You better pull up.
You know I'm pulling up.
Yes.
And I don't care what we're talking about now. We might be some hoes that night.
Yes.
I'm kidding. JK. I was talking about earlier, Eileen, I had the opportunity just a few months ago, my very good friend Silas Nasita at Scene and Love Studios. And if you haven't seen the video, I really want you to watch it, okay? And he titled the episode, A Former Homophobe Has a Conversation with a Gay Man. Okay, because he's a former homophobe. He's been on the show twice. We've done a lot of work with each other. Great, phenomenal guy. And he asked me a lot of questions that was like, had me in a chokehold.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it was uncomfortable for lack of a better term. However, I appreciated how open the conversation was.
Right.
There was one question that it just ingrained in my mind, and I really wanted to ask you, right?
Okay.
And I'm paraphrasing. What do you feel like the church's viewpoint is of you as a gay person, turning it around and you as a trans person?
Honestly, that's a good question. I feel like I've always been kind of on my own thought, like, okay, like what is Jesus' plan, or or why did God make me this way, or but I've learned throughout my years, mostly as I got older, I've been more going to my church lately, and I've always been scared to go to church.
Really?
Because I'm scared people are gonna criticize me, people are gonna judge me, people are gonna be like, oh, like you're a disgrace to God, or like why are you even in here?
Yeah.
But I've learned that God loves all His children equally. So, He brought me to this world for a reason. I have a purpose. Maybe I don't know what that purpose is at this moment. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I feel like God loves all His children, no matter, gay, straight, bisexual, trans. I feel like you have a purpose here. You have a reason to be here, and don't let nobody, not even God, can judge you.
Right. I my answer was somewhat similar. I felt like, I made a comment and said that us as LGBT, like what we do is weird. Like I don't feel like what we do is normalized in terms of like, you know, our intent, biologically male, our intent was probably to reproduce, you know, this and that. You know, we ain't sleeping with no girls.
No.
You know what I mean? So,
No.
so what we do is just not normal. Like, and I don't mean that to be disrespectful. I'm just saying, like, you know, the shit that we do, that's not like normal,
Yeah.
you know? But I felt like at the end of the day, if we're not all made perfect, right? Maybe this is just one of our imperfections.
Yeah.
And it's the same as somebody as like, you know, who is a thief, thou shalt not steal, a person that is a murderer. Does God hate them more?
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so I feel like if this is my imperfection, then this is my imperfection.
Right.
Period. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for
but I'm
sure.
still happy with who I am. You seem very happy in who you are.
Yeah.
And you're gorgeous. And
Thank you.
the hair is hairing.
Thank you.
Okay, let's get into it, girl. So, you know, and think, oh my God, I'm just so happy that you're here. You know, you're a trans woman,
Mhm.
okay? And you know, one thing that bothered me, and I hope this doesn't offend you when I say it.
No.
We had to take down the episode. People were still going in, but they were going in on the other episodes, like commenting on it. I don't think I ever screenshotted it to you. I didn't because I thought it was terrible.
Uh-huh.
But they kept saying, "Where is the episode with Mr. Cruz?" Is what they kept saying, and it made me mad. I don't know who it was, so I can't say.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I would have blasted that bitch.
Yeah.
Right? But because it was under an anonymous profile.
Mhm.
And it was kind of making me mad because it's like, so are you doing this to be antagonizing? Why are you going on everybody else's episode and doing that? And I just deleted all the comments. So they're not there
Right.
anymore. When you're being misgendered, or when somebody's not using, you know, calling you as her, does that hurt you? Does that bother you?
Honestly,
Mhm.
beginning of my transition, it did.
Yeah.
I feel like people got the wrong conception of me. People were like, I feel like people were being funny,
Yeah.
and I've learned to have more thicker skin. You know,
Mhm.
because I know people are gonna say joking around or sometimes being seriously.
Yeah.
And I ain't gonna lie, like sometimes it would devastate me. You know,
Yeah.
I would be tragic. You know, I would be upset. You know, I'm like, damn, like these people don't see that, you know, I'm trans and I'm transitioning or whatever you want to call it, and they still want to sit there and focus on the past. I'm like, it's time to move on. Like,
Sure.
then that's the old me. You have to ask me, or if not, if you don't know, you know, if I need to educate you, you
Yeah.
know, what I want to be called or what my pronouns are, you know, just ask. But you know, but back then I just cared a lot, but now that I got older, I'm like I said earlier, I've learned I don't care anymore.
Yeah, I just feel like it's disrespectful. At the end of the
Yeah.
day. Like, here's the thing. Like, we all know what's tea, right? Like,
Right.
you'll tell. I'm sure you'll tell anybody in the face. I was born a biological male. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But when I think of Eileen, and I said this to you in the last episode too. You know, you're a trans woman.
Yeah.
And so I'll refer to you as her and she because I feel like it's just out of respect.
Right.
Period. You're not sitting here in front of me with a face full of makeup, nobody's beard. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? So I hope that doesn't bother you that I shared that with you.
No.
Yeah, but
I had no idea, honestly.
well, I didn't want to tell you, and because it was making me upset.
Right.
And you know, we can have a separate conversation about pronouns and this and that,
Yeah.
like that, you know, whatever. But I think in this instance, first of all, I was like, number one, why are you so concerned about it? And number two, I mean, like, I actually wanted to comment back on it and be like, were you not done beating off to it? Like, I'm so confused.
Right, probably.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
what difference does it, like, why do you keep saying that?
Right.
And I keep deleting your comments, and it kind of bothered me. So if you did that, I want you to know, if you're watching this episode, I didn't think it was funny. I thought it was very distasteful. And if you're gonna make comments like that, then just stay off. I'm sorry. I'm at that point in my career right now. Like, I'm just gonna say that. Like, I think that what you were doing, I thought that was just terrible. I thought
Right.
it was very terrible. I thought it was very low rent. I thought it was disgusting. I don't think it was funny for 1 second. And if you're doing it, because they did it on an anonymous page,
Of course.
if we're friends, I'm disappointed in you.
Mm.
Period. They never told me who they were, but I'm disappointed. And we can have a
Right.
conversation. My phone number is actually on the Public Affairs YouTube page,
Oh.
and the Facebook page. But anyway,
Got that.
you know, Eileen, I want to ask you too, because I've been really into trans content, LGBT content these days, which is like perfect that you're here, right?
Yes.
I feel like there's a trans woman, and then there's your average cross-dresser. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
I think there's a big difference. Do you get mad when people misconcept you as that? When people think that you're not, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that I'm not trans. I'm kind
Yeah.
of like, Yeah.
Like it's like a costume.
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, you do drag, right? I'm like, no.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not a
a
fucking drag queen. I don't see you. You know, give me she be trying to run down the fucking runway with some 9-inch pumps on my feet. No, that's not, I mean, no respect, no shade or anything to drag queens out there.
Right.
I love y'all. Y'all are amazing. But that's just not me. I don't consider myself a drag queen. I see myself a transgender. I physically, emotionally, I am a woman. You know, I don't feel like, you know.
Right. But this is something that you've been going through your whole life.
Yeah.
For the people that didn't watch it in the last episode, I can't actually remember if we recalled talking about it in depth. When did you start transitioning, Eileen?
I started transitioning right after high school.
Okay.
So right after 2019, 2020, that's when I kind of started discovering myself. And, you know, that's how Eileen was born.
Okay. And where did Eileen come from?
Eileen came from a show that I was watching during COVID. And it was called Growing Up Eileen.
Yeah.
And then I named it sounded so pretty, so different. It was spelled differently.
Yeah.
So I was like, I would say that sounds really pretty.
I love it, by the way. Okay.
Thank you.
And so when you started your transition, and again, I know we've had this conversation very briefly, were people pretty receptive of it? Or did you have a lot more backlash than you thought?
Honestly, people took it way better than I thought they were.
Okay.
I thought, back in 2020, people were still kind of like on the,
Yeah.
But I remember people were telling me like, oh, I didn't even know it was you, or I didn't even know you were a dude.
Yeah.
And like, I didn't even know that, you know, that you changed so much. Like, you look like a woman. Like, you know, I'm like, well, thanks.
Right. Well, can I just say too, because you're doing it right. Here's the thing, and please don't, y'all don't, as a matter of fact, I don't care. Me and Eileen, you know, we Gucci, right? Because there's people that are transitioning like you know, you're presenting as full on. I mean, what bothers me is the fucking people with the facial hair. Do you know what I mean? And just like whole ass beard, hairy body. You know what I'm talking about? And that's me. That's your average crossdresser. And I feel like they are ruining it for the people like you.
Yeah.
For the people like my girl Gia. What's up, Gia?
Hey, Gia.
You made friends with Gia, by the way.
Yeah.
Right? On social media. We love her. Yes.
Yes,
For the people like Gia, they're ruining the fight for you guys who are trying to be accepted. And I hope you're okay with me saying this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not sorry about it. They are ruining the fight for you guys to be respected. They're ruining the fight for you guys to be accepted.
Right.
You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And my heart only goes out to you who's just like, do you find it hard to be accepted still in 2025?
Honestly, at this point in time in my life, not really.
Okay.
No, I think it's 2025. It is. We're a whole new generation. If you're still stuck in your old ways, I'm sorry. Get out my face. Okay. I'm pretty like. I feel like nowadays the LGBT community, being gay or whatever, it's okay now to come out and be. You know, people are more okay with it than back in the days when they weren't okay. So I feel like I used to run, so now people can walk. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So I had to fight the struggle. So now people new generations, my age, or you know, people that don't want to discover themselves, like they don't have to suffer the way we did.
I got you. Okay. Now you're considerably younger than me because I think I have 10 years on you if I'm not mistaken.
Probably.
Yeah. Okay. Well, because you're having your 24 años, right?
Sí.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm actually 34 this year in July. Yeah. So I'm 10 years old. Okay. You know, I think when I was growing up, it was a lot less accepted. Do you know what I mean? And I wonder if the struggle was the same for you. Because, I mean, were you openly gay in high school or?
No, if anything, I would always try to hide from it.
Me too, though. But you know that these bitches all knew, right? We weren't fooling nobody. We weren't. Yeah,
I would try to fit in I would try to fit in so much with the people and try to be with the cool kids and. They're like, oh, you're gay, right? I said, no, I'm not gay. You know, and I would try so hard to get a girlfriend. So, you know, they don't think I'm gay. And nobody wanted to be with me. I was like, fuck. And then I remember in middle school, a person talking about, I remember this person, but physically mentally, I know this person who this is. He asked me, he was like, hey, are you gay? I said, no. I said, me and my brother made a bet and I had to be gay. I'd gay to the end of the year. We bet on it.
Oh, I should have used that one. That's a good one. That's a good
And he was
one.
like, oh, hell no, I would have not bet on that.
Listen, I know we said that we were going to be less slutty, right? But I just love when I get a DM from somebody I went to high school with. It's just so great, And actually, I had a guy, Robert Fraga, on this show, I think a year or two ago, and we were both gay in high school, but not open. And I told him, I said, now, Robert, if we were both openly gay in high school, I would have definitely tried to sleep with you. Oh. Maybe not these days, right? He was right here. We had an open conversation.
Yeah.
He's so funny. He's so great. And, he did the adult content and stuff, too.
Oh,
so
okay.
Actually, I got to get you connected with him. But you know what, Eileen, listen, I want to learn more, obviously about you. I definitely have some more questions I want to ask, but we're going to take a quick break. I'm so happy that you're here. I'm so excited. I love this conversation. And when we get back, we're going to have more of my very special guest, Miss Eileen Cruz, here on The Public Affair. Make sure you guys stay tuned. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this exciting episode of The Public Affair. My very special guest, Eileen Cruz, is back on The Public Affair, and we are doing the damn thing these days. Now listen, before we continue, I definitely want to use this opportunity to give a shout out to just a few more of our sponsors of this episode of The Public Affair. This episode is brought to us by Bandas Hauling Service. With Julian and Ana Bandas, right, they run dump trailers, you fill it up, they haul it away. They also do junk removals and tree brush removals, and they haul cars in and out of town, and they also offer roll-off dumpster services as well. Perfect for big get-togethers. Listen, book now with the number on the screen, save their number, they're truly the best. Bandas Hauling Service, thank you so much for being a long-time sponsor of The Public Affair. I truly appreciate it. Of course, to Chefito's Kitchen with Al Gutierrez and Adriana Gutierrez, serving the best in Latin cuisine, including arroz con gandules, Cuban sandwiches, plátano maduro, and so much more. Listen, I had the lechon sandwich yesterday, girl.
Oh.
Go to Chefito's Kitchen on Union Grove, order the lechon sandwich. You like pork?
Yeah.
We like pork.
Yeah,
okay.
pork.
Yes, hello. Okay.
Yeah.
And make sure you guys follow their social media for daily lunch specials. Check them out at Union Grove, and you can also ask for catering as well. Chefito's Kitchen, thank you so much for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair. Of course, to my boy, Sid Rodriguez at Elite Barbershop. That's right, on Hewitt Drive. Listen, 135 North Hewitt Drive, Suite 121 in Hewitt. He has me looking fresh for Eileen today. I told him Eileen was coming. She called me while I was over there. He's like, oh shit, Eileen. Okay. Call the number on screen to book. Download the Squire app. Walk-ins are welcome as well. They also have Marcus Guerrero, Chris Reyes, Santos Cordova, David Rodriguez, Isaac Chavez, Clint Fletcher, Isai Reyes, Sam Ceballos, and Kayla Chapa. Over there, make you look as snackish as I have for more than 200 and something episodes of The Public Affair. Sid, thank you for being the longest running sponsor, bro. I truly, truly appreciate it. And of course, I want to give a huge shout out to Soko Soccer Academy with Dominic Gutierrez and Ariana Gutierrez, located at 3304 Franklin Avenue. They offer team, small group, and individual skills training. They also have elite skills training to make your kids superb star athletes and some of the best childcare services to date. You guys, this business is absolutely quintessential to your children's social dynamic, athletic dynamic, and more. And I also want to give a huge shout out to the Soko soccer teams coached by my best friend, Coach Mauro Maldonado, Coach Megan, Coach Jeff. You guys are truly phenomenal at what you do with these children. I wish you nothing more than countless accolades, achievements, and your kids are fantastic athletes. Soko Soccer Academy, thank you so much for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair. All right, guys, we're back with my very special guest, Eileen. How you doing, girl?
I'm good. How are you?
Eileen, you said you were going to bring the drinks.
I know.
Where are the drinks? All I got is the fake wine.
I know.
Hello. Isn't this cute?
Yeah.
They put the fucking pink microphone. Fun fact.
Oh, that is.
This is the microphone cover that I used to use in the old studio. And I saw it over there, and they put this shit in there to make it look like fake wine.
I'm dead.
Now, I think we were drunk on the last one. Because we had the box shots.
Yes.
Shout out to your friend. Is she still your friend?
Yes, Melanie. I love you.
Yeah, she was serving us the drinks in the background.
Yeah, she was.
And I just did my CrossFit comp last weekend, and I haven't drank in like 3 months. You were supposed to bring the shots, bitch.
I know.
Okay.
Maybe we can go after and get a shot.
Hello. Mm-hmm. Well, I have something to do after. But it's okay. Yeah, but no, for your 24 años.
Okay,
I'm bringing Buchanan's.
Bet. Bring it.
And you better have a man's for me.
I got you.
Speaking of a man's, last time you weren't in a relationship. How's Eileen's DMs these days? Mm-hmm.
Honestly, they're pretty dry.
For real?
No, really, they're really dry. I think like I said, I matured more since the last time we've been here, and I'm tired of just being noticed by just like a hoe, just a booty call whenever they want to, or just or whenever they want to fight with their wife or their girlfriend and want to come to me.
Yeah,
I'm done. I'm sorry.
That did get old.
It got old.
I'm sorry, that did get old.
I'm 23. Never been on a freaking date.
Eileen.
I never been in a relationship. Never asked on a date. Never had movie date. Got asked out. Nothing.
Yeah.
And people ask me why. Why? Like what? Like is it a choice or? Honestly, I feel like back then I tried to pursue it so much. I need to find a boyfriend. Sure. And Now just kind of like, I'm okay being single. Like,
Okay.
I don't need anybody to make me happy. I make myself happy.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? So like, I mean, hey, if my man's out there, you're watching
What's
this.
up? Yeah. No ladies though.
No ladies though.
Would you be open to dating a trans man?
Honestly,
Mhm.
I'm kind of down.
Right. No. Okay. I'm happy that you said that because some of them be passing.
Yeah.
Some of them be passing. I've
Right.
almost been fooled once. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm like, yeah,
But then does that make us okay? So like for instance, if I'm with a trans man, and a lot of them they still like have their bottom, right?
Mhm.
Does that still make me gay? Because my argument to that is yes, because they're presenting as a man.
Right.
I'm attracted to them as a man. And if I felt like if they looked opposite, I wouldn't be physically attracted to them.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I don't know. Does it make us pansexual?
Oh,
Is that the word?
I don't know because okay, so you're gonna get mad at me. I only acknowledge lesbian, gay,
Oh.
transsexual, bisexual.
Oh, okay.
So all the other sexuals, I'm like, what are y'all doing?
Oh, okay. Oh, shit.
But that's just me. That's just me.
Right,
no
right.
disrespect.
No.
If you're pansexual or demigod sexual, whatever the fuck it's called,
Yeah.
Greek sexual, like good for you.
Yeah.
But I'm just I don't know what that is.
Okay, yeah, me neither.
No, okay, yeah. I just and somebody asked me too. You know what I mean? And so and even like a trans woman, like no disrespect when we had the threesome comments, everybody wanted us to have threesomes with each other for some reason. Eileen, that's my girl. But I'm not sexually attracted to Eileen because
no.
Eileen to me is a trans woman.
Okay.
Like you present as a trans woman, so I'm like I'm just the makeup. It's just not doing it for me. Don't give me the hair's herring, right?
Thanks.
It kind of leads me to my next point, right?
Okay.
Because you were just saying just a second ago, I got tired of being somebody's side piece. I got tired of somebody's husband, getting fucking tired of their wife, and then just using me and then moving on, right, and living their happy life. Which, but yeah, okay. But at 23, I commend you for acknowledging that because when I was 23, that was not the case.
Right.
A lot of people will argue that the LGBT community is overly sexualized. In some aspects, I agree. However, this is my opinion. I don't think it's fair because I feel like in the straight community, it's just as prevalent.
Right.
I feel like there's just as much promiscuous people, just as much unfaithfulness going around. And for you, I wonder what your perception of that is as us being, we're overly sexualized. Do you think it's fair? Yeah.
I just feel like, people just are quick to judge. People are like, oh, just because they're gay, I'm pretty sure they do this and do that and do this. Yeah. But I mean, I feel like we're kind of both equal, whether we're gay or we're straight. I feel like we're both kind of, even now on both ends, I mean, shit. Straight people they do their shit. We do our shit. I mean, what's the difference?
Sure.
What's the difference?
Okay. But why, and us as being single, right? Why is it so horrible for us to be, I guess so free in a way? Do you know what I mean? Like if I'm a sexual person by nature, and as long as I'm not sleeping with all your husbands, right? And I just have just a friend that we just like to do this, why is that wrong? I can see like in a religious standpoint, like that's a different conversation, right? I'll leave that over there, right? But like, why is that? Why are we hoes for that? Do you know?
Cause I guess we're hoes because shit, they mad because they not with us. They mad because I don't know. Shoot, I don't know why y'all mad for. I'm like, what the? I'm like, are you mad because your homeboy fucking you, not fucking me? Like,
I love how like Hood Eileen comes out every 5 minutes.
I know the girl.
It's just dormant in you. It's not going anywhere.
No, it's not.
Yeah. I wonder. Does anything misrepresent you as being a trans woman? Like, do you face obstacles in being a trans woman?
Every day.
Okay.
Every day.
Can you name some?
Yeah, I can name a couple. I feel like, of course, one of them is obviously being viewed more than just a body. I feel like my respect it's taken over. Friendships, relationships. Shit. It's just I don't want to get emotional, y'all, but
No, yeah. And please share what you will. Because
no,
I want
yeah.
you to be comfortable.
No, if I cry, let me cry. Let me cry.
Okay, yeah, cry, girl.
But yeah, like I feel like every day it's a struggle for me. I feel like I try to play this role that I try to be like the best I can, and I try to be the best like not for myself, but for others and for my family. And I just put a smile on my face. And yeah, I'm okay. But deep down inside, no one knows what I go through every day. No one knows what I had to go through to this very day. I'm very blessed to be here to this very day, because I could have took my life for granted like way years ago. I feel like what's my purpose to be here, and I feel like, bullying and, people criticizing, judging. And I'm like, y'all would never understand what I go through on a daily basis. Y'all might think like, oh, she's fucking bullshitting. Oh, she's probably on her bull. Exactly. But literally no one will understand what I had to go through to get here to this very day.
Right. And I commend your, courageousness. And I wonder too, and, I understand that it's making you emotional. Some people will argue, and it's not my argument. Some people will argue that your identity is what's confusing you or making you feel so emotional. Right. Are you confident in your identity, Eileen?
I'm very confident in myself. I feel like, if anything, I've never been the happiest in my life. I feel like I found myself. I know who I am. Like I said earlier, I don't care what anybody else got to say. Right. But you can't sit there and judge me for who I am because you don't know nothing about me.
Okay. We spoke on the phone before you came on because, we wanted to talk about the do's and the don'ts, right? Yeah. And, there was some things that, and that's why, with my next question, I want you to be honest. And if you don't want to talk about it, let's move on from it, right? Yeah. I love you at 23 years old saying, I'm more than the content creating. I'm more than just some married man's side piece, right? I'm more than all of that. And this just in August when we recorded, the dynamic was just so different. All right. To clarify, I loved every minute of it. I loved every second of that episode. I just have it private. I'd be watching it sometimes. You know what I mean? I do. So, but was there a moment that took place between August and now that triggered that change in you? And again, I know that we said there were some things that we didn't want to talk about. So if share what you will.
Right. Yeah. Honestly, from then to now, I feel like I've had some obstacles. I faced some things that I have never thought I would ever face in my life. Okay. I'm still facing them to the very day. I might look like I'm okay right now, but I'm literally shaking on my boots right now. I just discovered myself. I was diagnosed with anxiety, depression, insomnia. So it took a toll over me. I just was going down. I was at my worst. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to. Trust me, I was at my worst. Yeah. And I went to go seek help. I got the help that I needed. To this very day, I'm still seeking help. And of course, mental health is very, very important.
Which is so great. Yeah.
And so yeah, I feel like that kind of was that breaking point for me where I was kind of going down. I was kind of like, okay, all right. It's time to snap out this fucking fantasy that you're living. Okay. This is reality. You have to take care of your mental health. Your mental health is very important. Right. And I want to continue living forever. So I feel like I had to snap back and back into life, reality, and learn and mature. And that's where I'm at right now.
Do you think that being overly sexual and doing the things that we shared on the last episode and, like the content creating and all that other stuff, do you think that was like almost an outlet for you to mask a lot of those things that you were dealing with?
I think so. I feel like at that moment, I feel like I was crying for help, but I just couldn't. I didn't know how to express it or who to talk to or you know what I'm saying? Because I'm a type of person, I like to hold my emotions in. Sure. I don't like to boo-hoo about my shit or what I have to do or what's going on. Because everyone has their problems. Right. So I just feel like, in my head, I feel like no one gives a fuck about how I'm feeling or what I have to go through. So why try to bother talking it out with anybody else? Because I feel like no one cares.
Yeah. And then at the time, who cares who I'm hurting in the process? Who cares whose husband is, right? Yeah. Because mentally, you're just like... It got really bad. Again, emotional part. Sorry. No, it's okay. Thank you for being so open with us.
Yeah. Just being ugly, because, I'm not an ugly person. I'm a very, very nice person.
100%.
And, in that process, in that time period from there to now, I was just a person that I had never seen before. I was just... I feel like I don't know who I was. I was just, I don't know. It's just, to this very day, like, I'm scared so many people that own me. and I don't want to go back.
Okay.
But yeah, I want to apologize to everybody that I hurt, in
Sure.
the process. That wasn't me.
Right.
I'm human. I make mistakes. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, 100%.
And
100%.
all I can do is just say sorry and just keep going and
Sure. And Eileen, hun, it's not just you though. You know what I mean? Like I told you, I've shared shit that I've done on this show. You know what I mean? And there's a community of people out here that are fighting so hard on their social media to create this image of themselves that we all know is 100% motherfucking cat, bitch. Because y'all be the next ones on McLennan County mugshots for beating somebody's ass. But you know what I mean? But what I'm saying is, I commend you so much at 23 years old to acknowledge your wrongdoings and be like, you know what, like, yeah, that was me in the past, but I was doing this because I was hurt. You know what I mean? And Eileen, I don't care what nobody gets out of this. Honestly, we have to give you your flowers for that.
Thank you.
Period. We do. Because especially at 23, girl, because don't get me started at 23 years old and who I was doing shit with at the bathroom in Club Evolution. So, okay. And who was taking me home after that. Let's not get started on that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time, we don't look at it that way. We don't look at it as that, we're hurting other people or, we're being selfish in our actions. But as we grow, then we acknowledge it and we move on and we forgive ourselves for how we need to, and then that's it. And I really do. I give you your flowers for that. As you're still fun loving. You're still the same Eileen I knew when you walked in, girl. Okay, like still looking like a whole superstar. But I feel this growth in you that I'm so appreciative to know that you have found. Honestly, I have another question before we go.
Okay.
With you as a trans woman and being who you are, I understand that us as the LGBT, we're going through a lot right now. There's some things, again, that I mentioned earlier in the show that I kind of just step out of.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what a trans woman, trans man fight is because I'm not trans.
Right.
Do you think the media misrepresents you guys?
Yes, I do. I feel like the media just kind of, especially with the whole Trump thing going on at this time, taking our rights away. And, I just feel like, why are y'all should be more concerned about more relationship, more important things, and then about people's sexualities. Who gives a fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can be gay, straight, bi, lesbian, or whatever the fuck you want to be.
Right.
As long as you're happy doing it, that's all that matters. So I feel like when people get this quick judgment and get this persona of like, oh, you're gay, you're this, that, whatever.
Right.
I'm who cares?
Sure.
I'm like,
I agree. And, I think, again, part of our struggle, I think this is like collective. A lot of people that are fighting for our rights, and this is controversial, I'm sorry, but a lot of the people that are fighting for our rights are not gay, they're not trans.
Mm-mm.
And so I feel like they are throwing out this false narrative of who we are, and it's making our fight worse.
right.
So, and I know that's controversial because I know there's people that genuinely want to see us be happy, right?
Mhm.
But then there's those people that are just like extreme activists
right.
that are throwing this false narrative about who we are, and it's like, stay out of it though.
Yeah.
Like we got each other. Do you know
Mhm.
what I mean? And you're not portraying a good message for me.
Yeah.
You think you're helping, but you're not.
Mhm.
And so that's what I see in the media. And when I look at Eileen as a trans woman, I don't see anybody who wants to violate children. I don't see anybody that wants to, do harm to the community.
Mm-mm.
I just see a person living their life.
Right.
And that's why I have so much respect.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I get the conversation's nuance, and, this episode is not long enough for us to get into those nuances,
Right.
things that we might even disagree on. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, when I see my friends like my girl Gia, who I'm going to name all the trans people that are on the show, my girl Gia, Cece, Eileen, Chris, when I see these people that are on the show, I just see them just living their lives.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I don't see them as predatory. I don't see them as, endangering.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're just living their life who they are.
Yeah. If anything, I just want to be a good example.
Mm-hmm.
So people that are struggling or are scared to be who they want to be. I want to be the perfect daughter, the perfect friend, the perfect. I just want to be known as I gave it my all.
I love it. Eileen, I really want to thank you for coming back on the podcast and trusting the podcast, especially considering what happened last time.
Yeah.
And, I want you to know that I'm super grateful to know you. I'm super grateful to have you as a friend.
Thank
That doesn't
you.
mean we're having threesomes now.
No.
Okay, y'all. Sorry. I'm sorry for the fantasy break. Okay,
No, sorry.
I just thought that was funny. I
Yeah,
thought
no, you're
that was
good.
so. It was even just a few months ago. I was like, bitch.
I mean, the money's good. I mean,
Look at that.
Just kidding.
Eileen, what's next for you, girl? What's your goal here?
Well, my next goals are in the same year, if not next year, whatever God has planned for me. I want to invest in a house.
Okay.
I want to invest in my career, and just grow and possibly just get the fuck out of Waco, honestly. I'm tired of being here.
Yes. Listen, I'll let you get out of it. I like it here, though. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I love Waco, but at the same time, like, I just want to fly.
Spread your wings.
Spread
I
my wings
got
and
you.
go.
Eileen, is there anything I left out that you want to put in? Is there any shout outs you want to give? Or?
Honestly, I just want to thank everybody that supports me, loves me. I know I'm very big platform in Waco, Texas, so I want to give my flowers to everybody out there that's, in my boots or in my shoes, or struggling or whatever. If I can make it through, you can make it. You can make it through as well. Don't be. It might take you a minute, but I promise you everything will be okay. And
it's okay to like Eileen, y'all. Like, it is okay because people they look at us as guilty pleasures or you.
I know. I promise you, I'm a sweetheart.
Yeah, they don't want to publicly acknowledge that they fuck with Eileen, but they like Eileen.
They love me.
They do. Okay.
they love me in person, love me in bed.
Hello.
Yeah.
Eileen, I love you. Thank you so much for coming on to the podcast again. And
Thank you for having me.
I wish you nothing but the best. Now I'm waiting for my invitation, November, girl.
I got you.
Okay, we're gonna turn up.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, make sure to save the date, November 29th, 2025, at the Lions Den for my 24ñera.
Hello. You guys, make sure you thank you for tuning in. I think, can we follow your TikTok? Because your TikTok be popping.
Yes, it do. Actually.
I think it's Cruz.
Let me see. I don't remember what it is anymore. Hold on.
Wait, I got it too. Hold on. But be careful with them snaps now.
Yeah, sorry, y'all.
We just said we're not exposing nobody, okay?
It's Eileen. It's EIL, 2 E's and 4 N's.
Hello.
Y'all can follow me on TikTok and watch my 24ñera process.
Yes, I love it. Eileen, thank you for coming back onto the show. I truly appreciate it and wish you nothing but the best. And I really hope at the end of the day what this episode does, I don't want to harp on it. The last episode we acknowledged was very sexually charged. While it was fun, I think it diluted the stereotype that we're trying to break, which is we are more than just being overly sexualized. You know what I mean? So I will take that from that episode. I hope with this one, people see you in a different light. You got very emotional. You got very raw with us.
Yes.
And I hope that people just see your perception of things and how your life is. And they don't have to agree with it. You absolutely do not. However, let's show her some respect. Let's show her let's just respect each other at the end of the day.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Sure.
I don't agree with you being a dumbass bitch, but I still respect you.
Right.
Okay. So thank you guys so much again for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Before we go, I'm just going to give a shout out to just a few more of our sponsors of this episode of The Public Affair. This episode is brought to us by Jeffrey Morarao at Pollo Box and Audio. Home for our LED needs and auto accessories, installation of stereos, door speakers, and audio systems. He also specializes in building custom subwoofer enclosures and so much more. A jack of all trades through and through. And he's the reason why I got that bass in my car, girl.
Oh.
Yeah, so when you hear the Cheetah Girls bass in the South Waco, that was me. That was me in South Terrace. Okay. So Pollo Box and Audio, thank you so much for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair. Of course, the HP Party Backdrops and Decor with Ana Limones. Call for all party decor. So if you need a party decorator for your 24 años, hit up my girl Ana Limones. Okay,
I'm gonna call you.
Yes, I'm gonna give you her number, girl, because she creates a number of wooden backdrops.
Oh.
All customized. She does her damn thing with all the balloon props, all the balloon arches. Everything is fantastic from start to finish. She puts her blood, sweat, and tears in it. She's punctual. You want to make sure you have the punctuality.
Yes.
She's the GOAT.
Okay.
I'm going to give you her contact.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you're going to need a party decorator at the Lions Den. Make sure you guys, and if you guys need a decorator as well, because graduation is right around the corner, Hummingbird Party Backdrops in the Decor. Ana Limones, thank you so much for sponsoring this episode. And of course, to my very good friend Julio Arriaga with JC Painting and Drywall LLC. Contact for all drywall and beautiful new paint for your property, both commercial and residential. His work is honest, it's true, it can guarantee 100% satisfaction, and they truly live by their slogan. Just imagine, and we can make it happen. Muchas gracias por todo, güey. Estoy bien orgulloso. I appreciate you so much. Julio Arriaga, thank you so much for sponsoring this episode. To all of you guys, I got more of The Public Affair on the way. Thank you so much for all the love and support. We're coming on to 5 years of the show, girl.
Oh my God.
I'm getting old. The bitch is old. He has wrinkles.
Congrats.
Okay, she has wrinkles.
That's okay.
However, no matter what happens, don't forget to always keep it between us.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.